Ladies and gentlemen, Abdullah here from Freedom for All. In this video, I will try to explain 3 propositions Neville Goddard talked about. Before I explain them, let me show you those 3 propositions. Number 1 is conditions and circumstances of a person is determined by his or her state of consciousness. Number 2 is the person can select the state of consciousness he or she desires to be identified. And the last one is a person can be what he or she wants to be. Now, the first one is your conditions and circumstances are the outcome of your state of consciousness. Now here, the important thing is a state is the collective body of belief, assumption, conviction, and automatic manifestations. It involves the sum total of everything that a person consents, believes, and accepts to be true, untrue, half-true, or even prejudice. It may represent a situation of your life, but it is not your true identity. Consciousness is your true identity, because consciousness is divinely infinite and there is nothing that exists outside of consciousness. Consciousness is like an endless house whereas states are different rooms in the house. If you don't like the room or if you don't like the state, you can go to another room or you can occupy a better state that you like. But the question is why? Why consciously shifting to another state is difficult? The reason why it gets difficult for many people is because they do not listen to what they're saying inwardly. This is the thing. When we listen to our inner conversation, we discover the state we have occupied, whether it is good, bad, or indifferent. The important thing here is to uncritically observe or neutrally observe how we are reacting to the current external situations of life. Because when we observe our reactions neutrally, we are aware, and that makes it simpler for us to move to another state. One obstacle many people unconsciously dwell into is justifying the negative or undesirable events of life. When they do that, they're basically diverting their own power to others. There is no one to blame, and justifying the negative things of the past don't change. It only makes it difficult to be aware. Neville once talked about it. He said, "Man has a peculiar, strange feeling, a little affection for the feeling of being unwanted or the feeling of being hurt. And he likes to talk about it. Well, try to pull that man out of that habitual state." It is habitual and definitely not much comfortable to pull that usual state out. But definitely, it is possible to begin to change self. Blaming others, judging others, or condemning kind of stop you from being aware of your internal mental conversations. The second proposition is a person can select the state of consciousness he or she desires to be identified. If the first proposition is true, that is, your state of consciousness determines the conditions and circumstances of your life, then of course, it is centralized to you only, which means you have the key to control your life or to select the state you desire to be in. But it is not as simple as it sounds if you think about it from the rational level. I'll explain why. You should select the state not from your rational mind, but from your heart. When I say to select the state from your heart, I mean to take full attention away from the world your mind is attached into. Because your reasoning mind does not represent your true version. It only represents a state you are currently in, knowingly or unknowingly. So be mindless enough so that you can choose the desired state uncritically or neutrally. It is important to mention here that there are infinite states, and among them, many are invisible to you. Even the desired state at present could be invisible to you. By being more attentive to the subjective world, you are able to make your invisible desired states visible. One common mistake I noticed is everyone wants to change the present state by force instead of choosing to shift to a new one. Does it sound confusing when I differentiate between changing states and shifting states? Yes, there is one slightly noticeable difference here. I'll explain what it is. Earlier in this video, I said you go to another room if you don't like a room. Similarly, you move to another state if you don't like the current one, which means you can move to another state leaving the present state as it is. The present state, whether it involves frustration, disappointment, anxiety, or anything undesirable, does not have to be taken away by force. Everything exists in human consciousness and it involves things that you don't like. So there is nothing to replace undesirable things by force. You just simply move to another state. This is a subtle difference between changing a state and moving from one state to another. The last proposition is, a person can be what he or she wants to be. It is just the outcome of the perfect application of first two propositions above. It involves the complete transformation of your consciousness. You are the wonderful temple in which all the work of your life takes place, and the outer world is only projecting out what you are doing within self. So determine what you want in life. Start to assume you have them and apply these propositions consciously, knowing that you are the painter painting the canvas of your life. I know this is something people from Neville's communities keep on saying, but this is less like something to keep saying, more like something to keep knowing and accepting. This is a tough lesson of life to adopt. Speaking about this, Neville said, "The hardest lesson to learn is that there is no one in this world that can be drawn into your world unless you and you alone." Even though learning this lesson is hard, it is not impossible. I personally think this is the fundamental rule of any mystical teaching. Life becomes so easy if we can master this lesson. Related to what I explained in this video, I would like to share a quote of Rumi. He said, "It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you." Life is a journey consisting of our dreams. While we could be in this journey together, we individually are responsible for each of our experiences. I hope you liked this video. Unlike many other videos of mine, I did not put so many quotes of Neville Goddard in this presentation, but I pretty much summarized his lecture called 3 Propositions here, along with my own personal views on it. Let me know how you are applying these propositions. Cheers. Bye for now.